Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'll be sharing with you how your words are literally creating your reality and how to understand how we can really align our words to who we prefer to be and seeing that correlation. Now, understand that our beliefs are creating our reality. That based upon what we define to be true, that is shaping and coloring the perspective that we have to where then we receive the reflection of it. Now, our words are very powerful in this process, and when we understand that sometimes it can honestly be a limitation. Like our words are very often limiting based upon that most of them are labels, they are generalizations that are within the words. But when we understand that the inner dialogue that we have is creating the perspective and the beliefs that we have, and that then that is reflected back to us, we can see that part of the process is changing the inner dialogue, changing the words that we're constantly thinking, and that when we begin to do that and we start to align it to who we prefer to be, we align it with our imagination, that's when there's so much power that's brought into the process. So realize that a lot of times it could be our outer words of what we're saying to other people, and that can definitely have an effect to what we feel. And a lot of times even saying it or thinking it, that brings out the definitions that we have about who we are and the way things work. So this could be subconsciously, because most of what we think is on autopilot. But imagine you're telling your other, someone else, you're saying, that person makes me sick, and you don't even realize that literally you may start to get sick if you're around that person too much. Or that person is a pain in your neck, and you may find that you start to feel a pain in your neck. Now, this could be at very small levels, but nonetheless, if you pay attention to your definitions and the words that you're using, many times you'll find that there's a correlation with what you feel and what you're experiencing. So, what is the key to then changing the kind of experiences that we have, knowing that our words are loaded with our definitions? And I would say that more powerful than even the vibration of the words we say, which there is power and importance there, is knowing that our definitions are loaded in those words. That when we get to the core and we bring those unconscious autopilot words and definitions and we start to realize them by paying attention to them, that's where there is so much power. So a powerful thing to do is to simply become aware of what you are saying, but more important than even what you're saying is the inner dialogue that you have. Most of what we experience is embodied in the self-fulfilling prophecies of our own words. So you may be going to work and something may happen and you may just start thinking to yourself about how it's not going to be a good day. You may be subconsciously or even consciously thinking about and rehearsing all the things that could go wrong, how you have to bring this up to your boss, how you didn't get this done the other day, whatever it is. As you're going through that mental rehearsal in your mind, that is literally influencing the kind of experiences that you have. But if instead you simply decided that you were going to think something new, you were going to play out and rehearse what you prefer to experience, you'll find that your state of being begins to change, and you'll find that when you get to the future of being at work that later that day, that things happen in a very different way. And part of that is because you're becoming aware of those definitions, of what you are imposing upon the situation, and that's where the power really begins. So become aware of your definitions about what you believe to be true. Become aware of the words you're saying, both externally, but also more important is the internal dialogue that you have. Now, the importance of this is knowing that the thoughts that you have, that when you make them conscious, that's where the power begins, because you are taking off the autopilot mind that continues to run our life. Now, when you bring the subconscious and you start to make it conscious, you are starting to immediately take your power back, and then you can simply choose that from this point going forward, you're going to think something new. So something that I found to be very powerful is if you continue to have self-perpetual thoughts, which many of us do, is what you can do is literally break the pattern of that language. So if you are starting to get on the autopilotness of thinking about how it's going to be a bad day, you can like use your body and like put yourself in a different state by maybe clapping your hands or thinking new thoughts or just say something funny that breaks the pattern. That's a very powerful way of then transcending that autopilot mind. So realize that your words are creating the kind of experiences that you have, that your words are loaded with the definitions you have about what you experience. And now what I want to share with you is a way that you can radically change the kind of life that you have by aligning your inner dialogue to that of what you want to experience. So anytime you become aware of these subconscious beliefs, simply realize that from now going forward, you're going to focus on what really serves you. So what you could do is if you start to see that you're rehearsing the bad day that you might have, break the pattern, do something funny, do something that just makes it so that you wake up from that autopilot thinking and then start to rehearse what you prefer. So think in your mind of you who maybe normally has a bad relationship with your boss. Start to think about that in a new way. Start to think about it in a way where you get along with your boss. Maybe a conversation that you would have. Maybe you later on that day congratulating yourself for transcending that negative thinking and starting to really see that this does work. Start to see your interactions with other people, how that would make you feel. Think about positive situations to where maybe you get a raise over the course of a couple months. Maybe you find that that leaks into your relationships with family members or whatever it is. But as you start to take apart and visualize and mentally rehearse these conversations in your head, you'll find that it shifts the whole energy, and you'll find that with time, it begins to then show on the outside as well. So you can align yourself, you can align your words, your mental dialogue with what you want to create. As you begin to do that and you think new thoughts, you start to then create new possibilities. So become aware of what you're thinking. Become aware of those words that are loaded with the definitions. Those definitions are creating your reality because they involve the beliefs that you have about who you are. And when you begin to do this, you'll find that it has the potential to really change the kind of experiences that you have. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. Like this video if you liked it. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next vid. Peace, much love, namaste. All right, bye.